Hey, Neal,
Yes, sir.
what did the janitor say when he jumped out of the closet?
I don't know what.
Supplies! So that's the joke leading us into surprise, we're back.
That makes that makes a lot of
Oh,
sense.
come on. Give me some sympathy laughter at least.
I'll give you some constructive criticism too. Pod your mic down just a little. It's like
Okay. Yeah, I get excited when I start telling bad jokes. So I
right.
start talking a little louder too. So,
Yeah, yeah.
all right.
Okay,
Hey, y'all, look, we're back.
we are.
It is time once again for season 1, episode 18. Is that right?
Whew, I think so.
Of Champion Brothers, ChampCast, Bubba's Big Broadcast, or
Let's talk some Southern gospel.
exactly 1 month, I think, after we had our last singing, and a little over a month since we had our last visit here. But glad some of y'all are coming on back in. As usual, that's Neal right over there. See, I
Yeah,
pointed the right way. I just
that's
went
great.
too far. Yeah, there you go.
Woo-hoo.
It wouldn't be right if we didn't mess up our point to start things off, would it?
That's right. That's right.
But yeah, we are glad to be back, and we've got some more singings to tell you about, and talk about, and
Yep,
music to play about, and all kind of good stuff. So
for sure. Yeah, we've actually missed you. A few people have said, "Hey, we missed y'all and missed you seeing you on there," and I'm like, "Really?" But anyway, we kind of missed you. Life has kind of happened in the last several weeks, and we planned to be gone for a week or two, but then it turned out to be a little longer. But hey, yeah, we're glad we're back. And
absolutely.
Mama's nice and settled down right upstairs, and she's tuned in, buddy, and watching. So there you go. Hey, Mama.
Well, that's a good thing. Hey, Mama. But yes, it has been a really hectic last month, but it's kind of hit the brakes because we got through with the play and we got through with the water park season. So things have slowed down quite a bit. So I'm
That
glad
is
to be back with you once again. I'm getting a flurry of notifications and trying to make sure we got all that going. So yeah, there we go.
all right.
So what's on your mind tonight?
Well, let's just start off with the reason we even started having these was letting people know about some singings we're going to be bringing to Fayette Civic Center.
Yes.
Fayette, Alabama. We loved having the Dixie Echoes in March. We had a marvelous time with the Lefevre Quartet in July. And now coming up in November, we're going to have Endless Highway coming to town, coming to Fayette, Alabama.
There they are right there.
Folks, you are going to hear an explosion of music that night. You are going to worship through these people and their music they're going to deliver us. Whether it's acoustic, whether it's up-tempo, whether it's old-fashioned Southern gospel, whether it's a cappella, hey, they'll probably lay a little bit of all of that on us that night. Probably throw in some bluegrass while they're at it.
Yep.
We got to do, Chris, we got to do a good job of convincing people they want to come and see Endless Highway in person.
Yep. And you will not be disappointed. Now, it'll be the first time that I have seen them in person. I think you've seen them at NQC, but I haven't had the opportunity to see them in person yet. So I am excited about it and looking forward to it. And y'all should be too. So just go ahead and just get you out an ink pen and write it down on your calendar on November 19th. That's the Saturday before Thanksgiving.
Yep.
So you'll have plenty of time to come. We'll start at 6:00. Absolutely no admission charge. And just come on out and enjoy some great Southern gospel music right here before Thanksgiving. And you'll have an opportunity to give some thanks as well. So
For sure. For sure. We are going to have a great time. Just need to help us spread the word for sure. Come on
yes.
out.
Oh, shut that door. I ask you to
Here,
keep them dogs down. Here. Oh, you got hog on tonight. Look at there. How about that? Let me see.
You know what? Or you going to see if you can
Yeah, let's see if
bring up the spirit of old hog right here.
Yeah, here's what we meant to play.
Here. You don't say that on the radio.
All right.
tell you what, we decided to come back with a bang tonight and have with ourselves a special guest.
Yes.
Yes, you had a lot of input on the decision of who it was going to be. We seeked out your opinion. We no, really, I just said, "Hey, Chris, this is who's going to be on."
Yeah, exactly. That's, some things never change in the Big Brother world. So.
Yeah. But how about we bring that special guest on, folks?
Okay.
Tonight is none other than
You doing it or am I?
you are.
Okay, there you go. Let's shuffle around. Get her over where she's supposed to be.
Hey guys,
Here amongst us. Look at here.
How you doing?
I'm all right. How are y'all?
Doing good.
Which one's Neal and which one's Chris? Can you point at us, Loretta?
Yeah, there you go.
There and there.
Y'all practiced that, didn't you?
I'll never tell.
We might have mentioned it a time or two, but
Yes.
yeah, Loretta told me some time back that she wanted to come on with us sometime and just share some of her favorite songs because she grew up around this music, not necessarily singing it as much as you and I did in the younger years, but she grew up around the music. And so, yeah, no better time than the present. So what you bringing to the table, Loretta? Jump right in.
Only took you 6 months to get ready to come up here.
Yeah, then you gave me 2 days.
Oh, yes.
Actually, a day to
Yes.
get the music ready.
Well, yeah. I'm sorry I interrupted. Go
No,
ahead.
that's okay. That's okay. Yeah, I mean, I grew up in a musical family, and I was just one of those kids that was always in the background. My mom and her sister and her older brother sang a lot as they were growing up, and my grandfather was, from what I hear, was a great musician, and they just kind of got it from him, I do believe, and they used to get together and go down to Carrollton and sing on the radio down there some. And I think they even, in some of their singing around different places, ran across Johnny. And
Johnny Duran?
yeah, Johnny Duran. And his partner at that time was, his name, Jerry House, right?
Yep. And Johnny.
So, yeah, so they knew Johnny from way back. And so I grew up just over the Mississippi line just a little bit in Columbus, and would go to Belk, which is where my grandmother lived with, a lot of you know Mark Jones, our piano player. Mark is my first cousin. His dad and my mom were brother and sisters. And I grew up going to their house basically in the summer. I spent a lot of summers there. And one of the things that I remember the most was going to church with them at a young age and sitting beside my grandmother and watching her and observing her as she worshiped the Lord. And one of the songs that she just dearly loved was "They'll Be Shouting on the Hills of Glory." And she loved that song. And that is one of the ones that stood out at me through the years. And I don't know how much of this y'all want me to start doing, but I'm just going to just keep going.
Let's just share a song. Tell us about a song.
Well, okay, I'll set that song up. My mom's sister's daughter, Deborah, and I, first cousins, we're about the same age. I'm maybe about a year older than she is. And we would go in what they called the music room there. It just was a room that had a bed in it, had a piano in it, and we'd go in there and we'd take their sheet music and we'd sing. And this was one of the songs that we would sing. It's by the Rambos, "Build My Mansion."
All right, let's listen to it. The Rambos and Build My Mansion here on Champion Brothers with Sister tonight. So let's play that one as soon as I can get the right button. So I'm out of practice, y'all. Here we go.
Oh, my.
Build my mansion next door to Jesus and tell the angels I'm coming home. It doesn't matter sits near the throne. I have no castles, no earthly kingdom, but my cabin will do till I get home. My mansion's yonder on the hills of glory. Oh, I hope my mansion sits near God's throne. Just build my mansion next door to Jesus and tell the angels I'm coming home. It doesn't matter who lives around me, just so my mansion sits near the throne. My mother's mansion may be close by me, across the golden avenue. She was the first one to teach me of heaven, and the very first Lord to tell me about you. So build my mansion next door to Jesus and tell the angels I'm coming home. It doesn't matter who lives around me, just so my mansion sits near the throne.
The Rambos and Build My Mansion here on Champion Brothers Broadcast. And we've got Loretta with us this week. There you go, Neal. We got about 18 different buttons that we have to push to get back, and we're both out of practice. But anyway.
Yeah, we'll get them all in there.
But yeah, let's say some how'd it go. I'm sorry, go ahead.
I was going to say, I guess I should say, just not assume everybody knows, but Loretta is my better half. Has been my
Well, yeah.
for coming up on 34 years now, about to be next month. Sure has.
Wow, how about that?
Yeah, Neal and Loretta are husband and wife and do sing in Chosen Witness. Now go, Chris.
You read that off the key card just like I wrote it. But hey to Megan Edgeworth. She says, about time. I really missed y'all. Well, miss seeing y'all too. My buddy Shane Watkins over in Berry, Alabama says, thank you for bringing great Southern gospel music to our community. You just can't beat it. That's right. Shane, I'm expecting you to be there at the Civic Center on November the 19th. Hope you can be there.
Yes.
Family member extraordinaire Donna Coker, which that's one of them that it's kind of like me and Loretta's brother Rodney. We always say, you know, we're not quite sure if technically we're not related, but we feel like we are. So now Donna fits in that boat too, because she's kin to you, right, Loretta?
Right, correct.
All right. And Janice Owens says, hello, Loretta.
That's another one of my cousins on my dad's side of the family.
Yep. And me and Neal's like, what are we, chopped liver? So anyway, glad to have y'all. And I was looking at some of the folks that had responded, and our old buddy Tim Mays, Neal.
Hey,
You and I remember him from way back in the delegation days.
sure do. We had him at South.
Bama Blue Grace now, yes.
Wow.
And I think Loretta's going to know this one better than I will. Casey Elizabeth Barnett. Does that ring a bell with you, Loretta? I'm not sure if it does or not. But anyway, glad to have you with us. And Miss Linda Kaufman up in Winfield. Her husband, Charles, is Josh Kaufman's that I do the plays with. So
Oh, okay.
that family. So
Yeah.
and my old classmate, I shouldn't say old, my classmate from days gone by, Melanie Jolly, says hey to all of you. So glad to have y'all with us tonight. Appreciate you dropping in or watching us on the replay or whatever the case might be. You was talking about where we played Build My Mansion. Mark Bishop was with me on Champ's Favorites on Real Southern Gospel this month. And that was one of the songs that he picked and one of two Rambo songs that he picked. And so I've played that one a lot. Played it when I sat in for Ron Foster a couple of weeks ago too. So, yep, that's a good one.
Oh, sure.
So, anyway, what's next?
Well, you was talking about Donna. Donna is actually my first cousin, and it's her sister Deborah that she and I are right there close in age, about a year apart. And Donna kind of missed out on some of this when we were growing up, just going into the piano room and just opening her up and letting her fly, just whatever. There's actually a video of their brother, and I don't remember how old he was because I don't remember how old we were, but he was supposedly playing the piano. He wasn't really hitting the keys, but I mean, he was tearing it up, and we were singing the song that you played a while back when you had Marion on that sang with the laborers called At the Crossing.
Yeah.
And so Deborah and I are standing there holding the sheet music, and the video is us singing, and then they pan over to him, and he's just all over the place with that piano. And that's one of my fondest memories. But Donna was a little bit younger, so she didn't get in on that too much. But yeah, you're talking about the Rambos. Another one of the songs that they sang that was real popular in my family was If That Isn't Love. I grew up hearing that one sung by different people in my family through the years. And so usually when we get together at Christmas, sometime or another, somebody will end up singing that song. And so the Rambos have always been a big influence on me through the years. I had this little portable record player that I would take and sit up in my room, and I would just take the Rambos and the Happy Goodmans and the Hensons, the Tallies, when I got some of when they later on in the years when I got to listen to some of their music. And of course, I had my country music too, if truth be known, that I was kind of, quote, famous for singing a couple of songs through the years. And everybody always said I went around singing Delta Dawn by Tanya Tucker. And of course, the other one was by Tammy Wynette, which we won't go into here. But it is one of her songs that they spell out most of the words in the song.
This is a time when you'd break out your hairbrush and not be brushing.
Oh, yes. And I'd stand back here in my room and sing and play the
Hairbrush
records
was your
and pretend
microphone.
like I was.
I'm not sure I can be a part of this. I'll be right back.
Well, it was, it's back. You could tell the ones that influenced me were a lot of the groups that had the female singers in them, because I'd try to sing the alto and I'd try to sing the soprano. And back then, as a little girl, I could do more soprano than I could alto, but now it's kind of changed into alto. But I mean, I grew up with music in my life, all around me. We had country music, we had gospel music, and I can remember going to the church there in Columbus, Pleasant Hill Baptist Church, and hearing at that time were the Joylanders, which are now Endless Highway.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So this next song, which I'm leading up to, is a song that they did, an old album that we were able to find. It's called He's Leading the Way, but it's actually Endless Highway is the mom of that group is Vanessa. And Vanessa was, I don't even know if she was 10 years old on this album or not.
Yeah, she was
very
the
young.
smallest girl when we popped the cover of this album up.
Yeah, well, she was the youngest of, I can't remember if they had 2 or 3 girls. I mean, there's 3 girls singing in the group on this album. But I think all 3 of them were sisters, I believe. I'm not positive on that. But yeah, this was one of the songs that they sang. And I can remember Vanessa when I think she was about 14 years old when we went to see them one of the first times that I saw them. And some man had given her a steel guitar. and asked her to learn to play it. And she did. And she picked it up. And at 14 years old, you would have thought that she was a studio musician. And that just always blew my mind because she could just pick up any instrument just about it and play it. But if you want to play that song, it's called He's Leading the Way.
All right, here we go. Here's the Joylanders.
Shouting through this whole wide world that Jesus saves today. I'm lifting up the bloodstained banner as I go traveling along the way. Every day my load gets lighter as the lights of home get brighter. Sin and sorrow cannot find me. Jesus leads the way. Every day he sends loads of sin and pride to block my way. Well, I'm holding to the hand that's never failing, looking for redemption day. Even though the road is straight and narrow, it's the one that leads from the land of Pharaoh. Shouting on my journey, singing, Jesus leads the way. Oh, he is leading the way. Before I stumble, everybody would stay. I make my way to glory higher on every glad day. I'm following Jesus, he's leading the way. He's leading the way. Before I stumble, everybody would stay. I make my way to glory higher on every glad day. I'm following Jesus, he's leading the way.
The Joylanders, and he is leading the way here on the Champion Brothers broadcast. Got a lot going on here. Let's bring everybody back in, get everything going back once again. There we go. I think we about got it. And let's take that off so we can see Loretta. There we go. Now we got it.
Yeah, that little bitty girl and that on the front of that album right there is Vanessa, who
Yeah, I'm
is
gonna
now
pop
the
it back up
mom.
there.
Yeah, the little bitty one right there, who is now the mom of the Endless Highway. And
Wow.
her daughter, if I remember right, can sing as good as she did at that young age. You
Oh,
know.
man.
And then flash forward, there she is, Vanessa now on the right there.
Yeah, on the
Right,
far
right
right.
there.
Yeah.
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 Yeah. So, pretty
All
cool.
right.
Pretty cool.
So let's see here. I'm going to see. Yeah, here we go. We got to stand by. We'll be back right after these messages.
The first part of our show this morning is brought to you by Ernie's Egg Market. Remember, if you need eggs, let Ernie lay them on you. That was a yoke.
All right, mighty fine. Now we got to get this on.
Well, goodbye tub and clothesline, goodbye pots and pans. I'm gonna take a Greyhound bus as further as I can. I ain't gonna wash no windows, and I ain't gonna scrub no floors. And when you realize I'm gone, I'm gonna hear you roar, and you'll say, hey, Loretta, I love you more than I
All right, mighty fine. We're going to get chunked off of here quicker than anything, but I couldn't stop myself when you was talking about the country music a while ago. I was like, no, got to play that one. And you beat me to the Joylanders before I could pop it up.
Okay, I think we better come back on the spiritual side.
Oh, yeah, whatever. Okay, all right. Mighty fine. Am I in trouble, Neal?
Absolutely not.
Okay,
No, no. No, a lot of people used to sing that song to me as I was growing up.
good. Do tell.
No,
I can hear my brother Robert Folks right now tearing off into it
Yeah.
many times.
yeah, my mom used to roll my hair and style it just like Loretta Lynn's back in the day. So
No, just like Loretta Lynn.
yeah, you're right. You're right. You're right.
Quickly, let me say hey to some more folks that responded to the video tonight. Brenda St. Pierre. Neal, we know her more as Brenda Shepherd, but
Oh, yeah.
And Miss Sandra McMichael over in the Crossville community, and one of my old baseball buddies, Crystal Richardson. Back when I used to work with the Nashville Sounds, I got to see Crystal back in those days. Hadn't seen her in 40 forevers, but she's tearing up the real estate market up in Twangtown, that area now. So hadn't seen or heard from her in a long time, but appreciate you dropping by tonight, Crystal. All right, let's get back to the serious stuff now.
Now the question is, what
Yes.
was Scott talking about? Because brother cousin Scott says sounds like a good cut for the next CW project. Now, is he talking about Halo Reddit?
Yeah, probably so. Yeah.
Probably. Yeah, probably.
Never know.
Yeah. What's the next song? we're gonna talk about?
Well, let's just move into a little background of, me growing up in the music area didn't necessarily mean that we went to church all the time, because there for several years we didn't attend church anywhere. I was sort of a bus child, you could call it. I'd have different churches come by and pick me up and ride the bus to church and go to church. And then about Christmas of '76, a man there in Columbus asked my dad to come to church, to a Christmas program they were having. And we all really liked it there. And so we, as we started going to church there. And Dad got saved in '77. My mom and I got saved in '78. And the part of that reason was going and seeing the Colombians and hearing them, because my cousins Mark and James both played for them at different times, which that's been discussed on here. But I can remember one Sunday in particular, we were fixing to start a revival at the church, and we had gone to see the Colombians, and during their set, Don Shepherd started talking about the book of Revelation and the things that were going to be happening in the end times. And I just got to thinking about that. And then as the revival started, the preacher was preaching along that same line. And I called back to my memory what Don had said and some of the songs that were sung that day. And so that week was the week that I got saved. And then my mom got saved the same night. And so the influence of the Colombians that is one of the main influences they had on me, was as a result of things that were said and done at that singing. I gave my heart, to God. And that's always been, the ministry side that I've always enjoyed, to be able to see as people getting saved as a result of some song that's been sung, or some testimony that one of the group members gave, or anything along that line. But like I said, I enjoyed the Inspirations. I enjoyed the Kingsmen through the years. I enjoyed the male quartets, but my thing was really any group that had the ladies in it, because that's my part to sing. So another one of the groups that had a special influence on me was the Nealans. I loved their harmony, that family harmony with them and with Karen Peck in the group. They just, to me, that was the Nealans of that day and time. And so one of the songs that spoke to me during that time was Bring My Children Home.
Let's listen to it. The Nealans, Bring My Children Home.
It's time to read.
The Neal and Son Go Bring My Children Home here on the Champion Brothers broadcast. Visiting with Loretta tonight and listening to some of her songs that she loves throughout the years and kind of reset and say hey to some folks. Yes, Scott was talking about Hey Loretta, of course, and then Randall Sutherland said even us Yankee outcasts too. It's been too long since I'm not sure what he was responding to, but anyway, Joseph Reed from Singing News Radio drops in. Joseph Reed and friends in the mornings up there on Singing News Radio says hello to everybody. Randall said that's one of his favorite recordings. And Megan Edgeworth said, Loretta, I grew up listening to church group my parents were a part of, and I think the church group was the first group I ever heard sing Bring My Children Home, around 8 or 10 years old. And, of course, Boo's got to chime in. Finally, a Beauty with the Beast.
There you go.
So what does that make Neal, Boo? Yeah. Beauty and Beast is singular, so I'm not sure. And I know he's got to be talking about me on one of them. I'm not sure which, but anyway, no, I'm just funning. And he says, seriously, glad to see y'all back. So good to see you too, Mr. Shaw. So, resetting too and talking about coming up on November 19th at the Fayette Civic Center. We'd love to see you there. Endless Highway will be with us, and Chosen Witness will be singing. Faithful Friends will still be there as well, Lord willing, and the creek don't rise in the morning. It already has, and we ain't got to get Johnny back to the home yet. No, I'm taking on. I'm just playing. But we sung over at Berry Church of the Nazarene this past Sunday, and Johnny was bringing it. All of them were. Tenor singer needed some work, but we had a good time over there with them at Berry Church of the Nazarene this past Sunday. And then we go down to Glen Echo. Neal, you remember going to Glen Echo back in the day?
Yeah, a day or two ago.
Faithful Friends going down there this coming Sunday. It's been several days since I've been down that way. So that's over there in the triangle between Carrollton, Gordo, and Reform. Kind of back over in that way sometime down in Pickens County. So looking forward to seeing all the folks down there this coming Sunday morning. But we don't want y'all to miss November 19th. Put that on your calendar. It's the Saturday before Thanksgiving. We'll start at 6 o'clock. Don't need any tickets. Just show up and expecting a good time in the Lord, and love to see y'all there.
For sure. And I want to share a little clip, and we didn't really get a chance to try to level out the volume, so y'all have your volume ready if it's too loud. But
all right.
Back during the COVID-19 pandemic, Endless Highway took it upon themselves to just make several little short videos of just some classic songs that they were just sitting there in their home studio and playing and singing. I want to share y'all one of those, one of the classic songs, but just listen at this music and listen at this harmony. And that's what you're going to be missing if you don't come and join us on November 19th. Listen to this little bit of Tears Will Never Stain the Streets of That City. Telling you what, if you don't like that, you don't like good gospel music. Just as simple as that.
Absolutely. That's good stuff right there now.
That's some of that good steel guitar playing too that I was talking about earlier.
Yes, Mom Vanessa, or Van as they call her, playing that steel. Allie taking the lead, singing that soprano up front, and then of course the dad playing the keyboard, Jason, and singing harmony, and then her brother Jay back there playing bass and singing harmony. And I'm telling you, we are going to have a time on Saturday night, November 19th, in this
To
highway.
me, it just doesn't get any better than family harmony. I mean, just blood harmony. It's just something you just can't get any better than that.
Blood harmony singing about the blood of Jesus. Write that down. That might be a hook line.
Yeah. Get your hook book out.
Yeah.
What are you thinking now, Loretta?
Well, I was just going to kind of bring it forward a little bit to leading up to another one of my favorite songs by the Hemp Hills, who were one of my favorite groups when I was growing up. But it's talking about us getting saved, and we joined the church. And I had been taking piano lessons, and one Wednesday night, the pianist wasn't there, so he asked, could I play? I mean, he asked a couple other people, and they didn't want to, and so he asked me. And of course, I've never been one to kind of shy away from stuff like that. So I said, okay, I'll give it a try. So one thing led to another, and I ended up becoming the pianist at times and played the organ there at church. And ended up playing for like the adult choir, the youth choir, different groups. We'd go to competition, and I'd play for them. And I can remember playing for my brother one time. This was after we got married, though, where he changed songs at the last minute before we got to the competition because I couldn't find the music, and he had to have the music, the written out music to it. And I can remember playing for him, and he changed it, and he got up there singing that day. And the whole second verse, he just completely rewrote it. I mean, he did not sing it anything like it was written. And I saw out of the corner of my eye, the judges were looking at each other and looking down at the music, and they'd look up and they'd look at each other and they'd look at him. And I thought, oh no, because I couldn't find the words and I couldn't find the music. He's not going to win. He's not even going to place. And I was feeling really bad. And then come to find out, he won first place in that competition because he rewrote the verse. I mean, it wasn't even what it was supposed to be, but whatever he sang, it went right with the song. So there could have been a third verse that he wrote to add to that song. And I don't remember what the song was now, but anyway, but the story that I want to tell about the song that I'm wanting to do next by the Hemp Hills, it's called The Master of the Wind. And a few years ago, I had an uncle that on my dad's side that one of his sister's husbands passed away in a house fire. He didn't make it out. She did, but he didn't. And we had the privilege of being able to sing at her church a few times. And one of the times after that we had sang there, she mentioned this song. And she said, because I asked her how she was doing, and I knew things had been kind of rough for her. And she said, well, she said, on top of it all, I know the Master of the Wind. And so I determined right then that I knew we were going to sing there the next year. And I said, well, I'm going to learn that song. And so we learned it, and we went there and we sang it. And that was just a couple of years before she passed away. And that has special meaning to me now when I hear it because, it was something that I just felt led to do, and I'm so glad that I did, and I didn't waste a lot of time wondering if I should do it or, maybe do it sometime down the road, and I had determined to do it. And so but just listen to the words, Master of the Wind.
My boat of life sails on a troubled sea. Ever there's a wind in my sails, but I have a friend who watches over me. When the breeze turns into a gale, I know the master of the wind. I know the maker of the wind. He can calm the storm, make the sun shine again. I know the master of the wind.
the storm, make the sun shine again. I know the master of the wind.
The Hemphills and Master of the Wind here on the Champion Brothers broadcast with special guest Sister Loretta tonight. And got too much stuff going on. There we go. Now we're back. So now we got to unmute you, Neal, so we can hear you. So, and I can't. So you need to unmute yourself. There you go. Now talk to us.
Where's that one button that'll just do all that at one time?
Oh, yeah. You're the computer guru. Write me some code.
Yeah, automate it for sure.
Yeah.
I think there was one song I remember on your list. I may be getting you off track, Loretta, but there was one song on your list, I believe, that I'll never forget. A pastor, somebody that was our pastor for years, said, "Got one you can pull out of your pocket?" You remember that?
Yeah, that was what I was listening to get to. I was going to skip a few things. The Babel, I grew up listening to the Colombians and, of course, the Babel Boys going to singings because Mark and James played the piano there. And, of course, Rodney was really interested in going around and getting to sing when he could because of your dad telling him if he just wear a coat and tie, he could sing. And, of course, he got him a coat and tie and he sang.
That's
and
right.
So as a result, we got to know y'all really good and became good friends. And eventually Neal woke up one night and decided that it was time for us to go out on a date.
I'd only known you 11 years. I had to take my
I
time.
know it took you long enough. No,
We'll be back right after this.
But anyway, so one thing led to another and we got married. And the first church that we went to, which I didn't even have a clue where we were going that morning. And Neal woke up and he said, I found this little church when I was out driving around. I said, okay, we'll go, because we were trying to find a church. And so when he drove up in the parking lot, I was like, I've been to this church before. I know the pastor of this church, or I did know the pastor of this church. And he's like, really? I said, yeah. I said, I came here a few years ago when I was a teenager. And he's like, really? I said, yeah. So we ended up going to church there. And the pastor and his wife, Brother Tim Trimble, and his wife, Rhoda, came to visit us that next week and started talking to us, found out we could sing. Well, the next Sunday that we were able to go to church, because we were at that time singing all the time with the Babel Boys. And he asked, he said, well, you got a song you can pull out of your hat? And we looked at each other and was like, well, yeah, I guess. And so we pulled this one out of the hat. It's a song by Gold City. It was one of my favorites that I would sing with the Babel Boys at that time before I actually started singing, I guess what you call full time with the Babel Boys.
Let's hear it. Go see
Yeah,
it.
that's it.
All right. I'll get there eventually. Here we go.
Somebody wrote my life story, though the ink never touched the changed my life so open book. It's never been a mystery how the fiction became real. 'Cause my life story started once upon a hill. It's never been a mystery how the fiction became real. 'Cause my life story started once upon a hill. 'Cause my life story started once upon a hill.
That's Gold City and Once Upon a Hill here on the Champion Brothers broadcast with special guest Loretta tonight. That's some good stuff.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
that was one of my favorite songs, but that's not actually the first song that I ever sang with the Bama Boys. Do you remember which one it was?
Probably a Heaven Bound song. When Jesus passed by.
Yeah.
Or no, was that Heaven Bound? Yeah, Heaven Bound. When Jesus
I'm
yeah.
not
passed
sure who sung it, but yeah, that was it. I don't know how, and I've often wanted to ask you this, and I'm going to ask you right now in front of everybody.
We'll be back
How did-
right after
how
this.
How did you figure out that I could sing, and you asked me to sing that song and sing that part in that song?
Well, because as we would be writing, our dates were pretty much me going and picking you up and you going to wherever we were singing that weekend.
Yeah,
And,
that's
and
right.
I'd be playing cassette tapes of music and I'd hear you over there singing along. And so,
Yeah.
we just pretty easy, really.
Yeah, I can remember the first time that I think I ever sang at a church, because most everybody knew that Loretta could play the piano, but didn't know that she could somewhat sing. And so, do you remember? I think it was around Macon, Mississippi. It was a Mennonite church.
It was a Mennonite church in Macon, yes.
Yes, and
Chris,
I
those
can
guys
remember.
that the Columbians used to sing with years ago that were based out of that church in Macon.
Floyd Borntrager.
There you go. It was some of that group's church. Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
I'm sorry, I'm doing about 8 things at once.
But
Never
I
mind
can
me.
remember that first night I was scared to death. And I just had one really solo line when it said, "When Jesus passed by," I
Yeah.
think. But
You sung
I
that
was-
word so pretty that night. When you just tore it up. I'm telling you.
anyway, but that was actually, I don't remember if that was actually before. I guess it was before I started playing the
It
piano.
was, yeah. It
I
was.
was kind of thrown into playing the piano because we knew that. Bless your heart. I guess Rodney always felt that way too, because Rodney was with us on most of our dates.
Oh,
Let's see,
I mean,
tag
you gonna play
along
another
singers
song.
with us.
let's move on here. Let's move on.
Okay. Now, the first weekend that I played, I mean, I wasn't really supposed to start playing with the group until after we got married. Chris Locke was playing the piano at the time for the group. And in June, Neal had started working on a notebook for me with chords and the words. So I kind of start practicing. Well, come the first weekend, I think it was in June of 1988, Chris Locke called and said, "I won't be there this weekend. I got a job and I'm going to be working." And Neal's like, "Okay." So when he picked me up for us to go to singing that Friday night, he said, "Are you ready to play?" And I was like, "No." He said, "Well, tonight's your first night." I said, "Really?"
We've
And
only
he had
got
me the notebook.
We've only got 5 singings this weekend.
I know.
Yeah.
We had Friday night at the Vernon football field, and then Saturday
Yeah.
morning was a car dealership. I think they're in Sulligent.
Intelligent, yeah.
And then that Saturday night, we were over in Mississippi. And then Sunday morning, I think we were at, it was around
Riverside.
Kennedy, Riverside.
Okay.
And then I think I figured out that night that we were at Oak Ridge Baptist there.
think
I'm
so.
not positive.
Yeah, but
But I
five
know that-
different places that weekend, yeah.
Yes, and I was just kind of thrown into playing, and I didn't have a clue, no practice and nothing. I didn't know what I was doing. Neal
got
said,
no
"Just chord." You got the chords there, just chord, and that's what I did. So I was like, whew. So then, that's when we got married. Is when I started singing all the time. But leading up to the next song that I want to do, it kind of doesn't go along with that song, but it was the Bama Boys, and I can remember us loading up in the brown
years later.
van, and it had like 2 seats that set 3 people, and then of course it had the driver and the passenger side, so an 8-passenger van, and we'd always put 2 chairs in the back behind there for 2 other people. Well, this particular time we were headed to a prison somewhere between Alabaster and Montgomery. I cannot remember the name of the town.
Atmore.
Yeah, I think
Atmore? Was it Atmore?
I believe
Okay.
so. Yeah.
So anyway, but there was about 12 to 14 of us in that van, all loaded up from as well. It was either 10 or 12 till we got to Birmingham. And then we picked up a guy that Neal worked with at Bell South there that had actually arranged for us to go and sing at the prison that day. And so when he and his son got in, it made about 12 or 14 of us in that van. People were sitting on top of each other. I can remember Mark and Pam. I think Pam was sitting in Mark's lap, and I think Avon and Judy was sitting in Avon's lap for us all to be able to get in there. But we did, and we got down there. And, of course, we were all kind of, well, us ladies were kind of scared because it was all male prisoners, I think, in that particular one. And but we had to go through different gates to actually get into where the chapel was. And so we'd go through one gate, and everybody would have to get in with all the equipment, and then they'd shut the door, and then you'd open up the next one, and you'd go on. So we finally got in there. But one of the things that I remember most about that, well, actually, there's 2 things. One of the things was we were sitting there, and y'all started singing Child, Child, or Neal started singing Child, Child. And we just kind of looked at each other and just looked around, and it was like Neal wasn't alone in singing that song. The whole group of men were singing that song with him. And you talking about a spiritual moment, that was an awesome spiritual moment. It's one of the ones that stands out in my mind and will forever, because you had all of these guys who were in prison, and they were singing every word of that song with Neal. Do y'all remember that?
I do.
I know Neal does.
Yeah.
I do. I was so surprised. I mean,
Yeah.
obviously it had been sung there and, to them, or they had been playing it by, somebody, I don't know. But yeah, we just happened to sing that song, and we had a prison choir singing along with us.
And I remember the preacher or the guy that I guess he was, I don't know if he was like the chaplain there, but I remember him preaching, and his one favorite thing to say was, "The devil is mad, and I'm glad."
I'm glad.
And
Man,
Neal,
I'm glad.
you got a chance to use that in a song that you wrote.
Yeah, a few years later, that line's
Yeah.
tucked in there. Yeah.
Yeah, so that was one of the memories that I remember in traveling with the Bama Boys. But another one which was actually my quote first recording, I guess, was when the 3 of us went to Nashville and did the recording. I don't remember his name, Chris. You'll have to help me out there, in that guy's basement. That recorded the 3 of us.
Yeah, Greg was on
Yeah,
Solid
Greg Hutchins.
Greg Hutchins. Yeah, Chris was in Nashville at this time, and
Mhm.
well, us 3 had never recorded anything together, and Chris, been talking to Chris, had the opportunity. Greg had a studio there, and we said, "Man, we can just show up and record." And so this is something that was never released or anything. We just went and did it and gave Mama and them one, and that's all we ever done.
Yeah, and this was one of my favorite songs on that, and it features Chris. So you're included. You're not the fifth wheel anymore. So it's called Home.
All right.
Champion.
Let's listen to that one. You like it so far?
Oh yeah, yes.
There we go. Here it
It's
comes.
just
Home is where the heart is, and my heart's on home. Though I never really had one to call my own, but I've been by the carpenter of Galilee. With interest paid, the title's made to me. Home where there is no night, home where the sun is the light, a place I've been dreaming of so long. Loved ones there to welcome me, but his sweet face will be the first I'll see. When my journey's over, I am going home. Everybody dreams of going home, it seems. Lately I am no exception to the rule. But home is so much more than windows, walls, and doors. It's a warm embrace where his smiling face is waiting you. Home where there is no night, home where the sun is the light, a place I've been dreaming of so long. Loved ones there to welcome me, but his sweet face will be the first I'll see. When my journey's over, I am going home. Home
Where there is no night,
home,
where the sun is the light, the
place I've been dreaming of so long. Loved ones there
welcome me, but his sweet face will be the first I'll see.
when my journey's over, I am going home. When my journey's over, I am going home.
There you go. There's the original Neal and them. And home. That's good stuff.
It is. That was good. That was a good recording, I think.
Hey, look, Kim Foster checks in and says, hello, gentlemen. Hey, Kim, Loretta's here too.
I'm not a gentleman, Kim, but hi, Kim.
Yeah.
You're not a gentleman. Oh well.
She came in while the song was playing. She didn't know.
Yeah, she
My. Well, there is
Was
going
that
to be.
me? Sound like Fibber McGee's closet. It just opened up there.
I was just going to say, please remember November 19th. We want to keep
Yes. Reset.
Endless Highway You Want to Hear, and they're going to be coming to Fayette, Alabama that night, bringing their instruments. They ain't no telling how many different instruments you will hear played that night by those four people in that group: mom, daddy, daughter, son. It's going to be a wonderful time. It's going to be an uplifting time, and we want you there. 6 o'clock on Saturday, November 19th. Faithful friends, they'll be worth the trip. I mean, come on, faithful friends. just
Easy.
get all the
Easy.
time. Those and Witness will do a few, and then, boy, we will hear a whole lot of Endless Highway. Won't cost you a dime, so you can't say, can't afford it. Come on now. You can figure out some way to get gas in the car to get over there, or get somebody to bring you one. And bring somebody with you, too, because we're going to have ourselves a time. This will be our third one. Crowds are getting a little bigger, and we're confident enough. I'll just go ahead and tell you, we got next year planned out, folks. So March, July, November of 2023, we got it. We're not going to start telling you about the artist just yet, but hey, you're going to love them, and you got to keep coming. You got to keep supporting for us to keep bringing this good music to Fayette, Alabama.
And right quick, like, want to get another hello in. I missed this one a while ago. Carol Griffin checking in. Said it's really great getting to see all of y'all. Love y'all. Appreciate you checking in with us, Carol. And let me look at the other list here. We got Kim, Melody Bryant, Neal, one of your classmates, and old TR Tommy Robinson, just up the hill from Mama's house in Millport, checking in.
He's not fishing. He's watching us.
Yeah, I know it. Ken Spencer, tenor singer extraordinaire. Good to see you, Ken, as well. So just want to say some hellos to some of y'all that's checking in with us tonight. Always glad to have you.
Tell us a little bit about that real Southern gospel you're a part of playing, Chris.
Yes, it's real Southern gospel that Les Butler started back in January. And full disclosure, I've been one of them between slowing down and wrapping everything up. I haven't been on as much quote unquote live as I've needed to be over the last couple of weeks, but we're fixing to fix that and be back. But if you like real Southern gospel music, then you can tune in. You can go to realsoutherngospel.com, or you can download the free Real Southern Gospel Radio app on your mobile devices. It's available for free in the App Store and the Google Play Store. And got special programs going on all the time. In fact, I felt kind of bad just before we was fixing to go on tonight. Les texted me, and he's actually doing a Live with Les show right now, and was telling me that he is premiering just a clip from the new Real Southern Gospel Quartet that he has assembled. So if you're watching us live, when you get through, go over and watch Les. If you're watching this later on, go over to the Les Butler page or the Real Southern Gospel page and watch Live with Les and hear a little snippet of the Real Southern Gospel Quartet that you'll be hearing from some here in the not too distant future. I believe that project's going to be released late next month at the Quartet Convention. So,
all right. Yeah,
I would love to hear y'all tune in, and we'll have some more Champ's favorite shows coming up next month. To be fully honest, I'm not sure who's going to be on. I've got a big list of about 8 to 10 people that that I want to talk to, but I hadn't set anything up yet. But we will be having that on before too long too. So appreciate y'all tuning into that.
So, Loretta, you got another one or two, I think, maybe? We're a little over an hour here, but I think we can squeeze a couple more in.
Okay. Yeah, talking about real Southern gospel music, I mean, that's what I grew up on. And I know I said earlier that a lot of my influences were groups that had the women in it, but I also grew up with like the Inspirations, the Kingsmen, the Dixie Echoes. I can remember going to Ewan, I think it was the football field where the Dixie Echoes were there when Bill Sheldon was alive, and listening to them and really liked them then. And then we've gotten to know them even in a more personal note. And, I just love their singing, their harmonies, the songs that they sing. Of course, the Primitives have been always one of my favorites through the years. Jeff and Sherry Easter, the Melody Boys, we're good friends with, and I enjoyed them through the years. Of course, the Perrys, and then in more recent years, some of the newer groups. But one group that I had heard of all my life and had heard was the Blackwood Brothers. And, they were great singers, but they weren't one of my favorites when I was growing up. But in more recent years, they have become one of my favorite groups. We went to hear, I guess it was our first Memphis Quartet show a few years ago, and we heard the Blackwood Brothers then, and I just fell in love with the songs that they were singing and with them. That was when, of course, Billy Blackwood is still there and the owner of the group, and then Michael Hillwig, Wayne Little, and Butch Owens was with them. And they sang a song that night that just really grabbed me, and I just had to have the CD for it, and it's called Forever Forgiven, and Wayne Little sings it, and he does an awesome job.
How will I remember the moment in time when she stand redeemed. Forever it's settled. I'm a child of the King. In the book of life, by my name it's written, purchased and pardoned forever, forgiven. His blood paid the ransom. My soul is set free. The shackles now broken, they lay at his feet. Oh, the song of salvation. The anthem I sing echoes from Calvary. Forever forgiven, I stand redeemed. Forever it's settled, I'm a child of the King. In the book of life, by my name it's written, purchased and pardoned forever, forgiven. It was death I deserved, but mercy he gave. Forever my sins are washed away. Forever forgiven, I stand redeemed. Forever it's settled, I'm a child of the King. In the book of life, by my name it's written, purchased and pardoned forever,
The Blackwood Brothers and Forever Forgiven here on the Champion Brothers broadcast with special guest Loretta tonight. I've enjoyed this.
Have you really? Tell the truth.
Yes.
Tell the truth.
Yes.
Oh,
Weird odd pause.
Oh,
I was just waiting to see if y'all were going to say something else before I
well,
finished up.
I'll be over here if you need me.
been good.
Maintenance.
Maintenance.
Yeah, maintenance. No, let's not go back that far.
But anyway,
That's an inside joke.
we got one more song. Is that right?
Yeah,
Think
one
so.
more. And of course, I think.
And then
most
me and
people-
Neil will get to the ones that we want to play. No, I'm teasing.
No, that's
Go
fine.
ahead.
That's fine.
It'll be next time, right here, same station, same.
Yes, yes. Anyway, go ahead.
Well, the last one is by the Chuck Wagon Gang, and I grew up listening to them and going to see them in person. And last year at NQC, I fell in love with them, I guess you could say, if there's such a thing.
NQC,
Yeah.
which being translated is National Quartet Convention.
Yes,
Go
I'm
ahead.
sorry. Yeah. Especially this song because the group now is just Shay, who is the one that starts off singing this, and then there's a duet on the second verse. But she is the granddaughter of Anna that sang with the Chuck Wagon Gangs for many years. and she just does an awesome job on this song. And when we heard it that night, I looked up Scoot's wife and I said, because I couldn't find the Chuck Wagon Gang's table, and I said, I've got to have that CD. And I couldn't remember the name of the song, and she immediately knew. And Penny said, yes. She said, I know the song you're talking about. It's called The Record Book. And she said, it's awesome. I said, yes, it is. It is an awesome song. And Shay does a great job on it. So just listen. It kind of goes along with the last song that we just played, because it talks about your name being forever written in the Lamb's Book of Life. And it's just an awesome song.
To be well known of men, I may not ever be. I'm sure my name will not go down in history. There'll be no marble plaques to tell of my good deeds, nor any great parades to honor me. But there's a record book my name is written in. It was recorded there when I was born again. No one can blot it out. It's sealed forevermore. It's in that book of life kept by the Lord. For every deed I do, for every word I say, there is a record kept until the judgment day. My name will not be lost, misplaced, or overlooked, for it's kept safely in God's record book. But there's a record book my name is written in. It was recorded there when I was born again. No one can blot it out. It's sealed forevermore. It's in that book of life kept by the Lord. But there's a record book my name is written in. It was recorded there when I was born again. No one can blot it out. It's sealed forevermore. It's in that book of life kept by the Lord.
The Chuck Wagon Gang and the Record Book. You're on the Champion Brothers broadcast. It's been real fun. I've liked this a whole lot. Don't wait 6 months next time, Loretta.
Okay, I'll try not to. I've got a whole long list of songs and I had to narrow them down for tonight, but I've got some more that I would love to share.
Well, all righty then. it has been good to be back with you folks. That sometimes I wish I could see all of y'all, that's listening in, but maybe not. That would be the best thing. But anyway, it's been good to be back and talking about memories tonight, sharing a lot of Loretta's memories. It, of course, brought back memories to me and Chris as well. A lot of them did. I never sung with my hairbrush. But anyway, it's been good.
Yeah. Hey, Neal. Just hasn't got the same ring to it, does it?
No, it doesn't.
Not at all.
It doesn't.
Not at all. But hey, we'll be back again. Y'all just keep watching, and we'll be back. We'll be telling you, reminding you to make sure you got November 19th written down on your calendar to come see Endless Highway at the Fayette Civic Center, 6 o'clock. We just definitely can't say enough how much we want you to come and how much you're going to want to hear and see and be ministered to by Endless Highway that night.
Absolutely. So we have no idea when next time's going to be, but I guarantee you one thing, we'll be here. So
That's right.
so y'all take care, be careful wherever you're going, and we'll see y'all whenever next time is.
And we'll talk some more
Bye, y'all.
soon.
Absolutely. Good night, everybody.